welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachael
and Neal Young. We're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachael and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure. Use your podcast voice.
Over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that?
Hey! Rach, who do you love?
HD Photo Hub.
Today's episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub.
The platform real estate photographers trust.
And so do we, because Rach and I both use it on a daily basis.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. Check it out.
If you're like I am, you may have a huge to-do list, and there's some really important stuff on there that you might have put on there over a year ago.
Don't we all, Neal? Don't we all? Yep.
And so today we're talking about time management, things to avoid, things to focus on, how to get some of that list accomplished. And most of the advice is clearly not coming from me today.
Oh, Neal. Whatever, you're
Let's just pretend that Neal has a list, but he totally doesn't. No list. And let's just pretend that No, I have a list in the form of it's an online task tool that I have stuff, but there's literally stuff on there like long term that I never get to the long term column.
Yeah, you worried me. I was like, you don't use any kind of list? How do you remember things?
No, I was just being sarcastic and kidding that I wouldn't possibly have a list. This is just for pretend. And I'm just going to play the role of someone who needs help with this, and Rachael will play the role of helping me.
Yeah, let me tell you how pulled together I am and how much I know how to manage my own time.
Yeah, I think we probably all have a couple insights into this, but we have a whole lot of insights that we've outlined to try and help. And some of them I know and just don't listen to. And some of them I don't know or they're new to me. And so I'm going to try and focus and refocus to get some stuff done. And it's all stuff that I think a lot of us have it going in the back of our heads. We know there's things to do, but really at some point we just got to start making changes. So we'll talk a little bit about it today.
And sometimes just learning how to manage your time a little bit better and a few of these little hacks that we're going to talk about can just help you get the motivation you need to get going and get started and to stay on track. Because a lot of times we get this great idea, like we're all excited about something and we get started and then life gets in the way, you don't manage your time and you just don't have time to do it. So these little 11 time management habits are going to help you to increase your productivity and hopefully help you to grow your business and to get more done within the week, since we really only have 40 hours in the week that we're supposed to be working, right? Yeah, maybe 60 or 80, but also shooting and doing all the things and family. And there's so many things. So it can be overwhelming. I can't tell you how many people I've met that are like, oh, there just isn't enough time in the day. I wish I had more time. That is something, I think it's this new pressure in our society to do so much more than we have ever had to do in the past just to keep up. And it's expensive to live. So there is that undue pressure on everyone to make more money and to keep going so you can survive. Inflation's insane. Cost of living, I don't know where you're at, but cost of living for us is crazy. Everything's just wild. So there's that pressure to keep going and to keep up with the Joneses and to make sure you're getting everything done. So hopefully some of these things will help you to set some better time management goals that will help you to accomplish more of what you need to get done, all the important stuff, and to help you stay on task. Because a lot of it, another thing too that I hear that I think affects your time management from like 90% of the creatives that I meet, they're like, I have ADD, I have ADHD, which basically just means you have a hard time focusing on one thing, right? Like you're jumping all over the place or you're unorganized. So all of this episode that we're going to talk about is going to help all of you that have ADD to focus, which if you asked my brand manager, one time I just joked about, I might have ADD. And she was like, you think? And I was like, geez. I was like, okay. Haven't been diagnosed, but I've taken the tests and it's pretty obvious. But I know how to focus myself. I know the things that I need to do to get more focused and how I can harness it. So I'm not like crazy, need medication. I'm not to that point. Nothing wrong if you do, but I know that I am on that spectrum of I have troubles focusing and completing things and being organized, and I lose stuff all the time.
I should probably be on medication for it. Most
Neal,
definitely.
I like you just the way you are. I don't want you medicated. You're
most
great.
Definitely.
Just stay how you are.
I think about that a lot, actually. I'm like, I wonder if I just talked to a doctor and tried it, if I would just be like, just excelling through the roof if I just had.
Yeah.
I do think about that.
Yeah, you're like, I wonder what it would be like to be able to sit down for 8 hours and actually focus and work.
Yeah. But at the same
Struggled
time,
today.
I also have a fear of like consistent medication like that. It's not my favorite thing. But
that's a whole nother topic. But in my mind, it's a Band-Aid. It's not a long-term fix because you don't really, I mean, it's up to you. Some people don't mind being on medication forever, but that's not really addressing or fixing the problem. It's just like masking it, in my opinion. So, which sometimes you need to mask it until you can get through whatever you're going through to address it. But yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure.
Totally.
Anyways.
So anyway, for my list of things, like simple things, like I know that I need to find a way to do some important things for myself for sanity, which is and for health and stuff like that, especially as you get older, like you realize I really need to do something consistently to stay in good health mentally and physically. And it's not like when you were 20 and you could just go 10 years without exercising and you still were in perfect shape and everything was fine. No, I drive my car with my arm on the window now, and that caused a problem with my shoulder for a year. So you have to stay physical to not start to deteriorate when you hit my age. So one of the things I really want on my list is I want to find a way to have one day a week that I go for a mountain bike ride. The tricky thing is it's not just like a 15-minute ride that I like to go for. I like to go with my sisters and my brother-in-laws, and they're really into it. So when they go, they're going on 6 miles minimum through the woods and mountain trails and stuff like that. So
how long would that take you? 3 hours?
It's probably only a couple hours out there. If I was in better shape, probably not as long. And they're like mostly waiting for me. But also a lot of it is if we're just going local, it's not a big deal. Well, a lot of the times we're driving a ways to get where this cool trail is that they want to do or something. So it can eat up the whole day just driving there, then riding, then driving back. It's, basically the day is gone at that point. So it is hard to do that. But anyway, I'd love to have a day that I could do that. And I also want to work in more exercise. Now, one thing I have done is baby steps for exercise that I've realized that it's very hard for me to do a lot. And so what I can do is start with a very simple thing that I can commit to for myself, and there's no excuse ever. And what I have done now for must be a couple months now, and I'm feeling better just doing that. Maybe it's only 1 month, but anyway, is I've been doing push-ups. And I do the push-ups at a specific time, which is before I get in the shower. And so I do 30 push-ups every day. And I just really focus on those push-ups. Like I don't just bang them out. I actually really focus on trying to use my core and use the proper technique. And I change them up the way I do them and stuff like that. And those feel good. And I already feel better just doing those daily. So I can say that for anybody else who feels the same as I feel right now, that they're not doing everything they want to be doing for themselves, at least start with a little tiny thing. And it does actually help.
One thing that I did for when I had hip surgery, they were like, do as many squats as you can. Just do squats randomly throughout the day. So when I'd brush my teeth, I'd do squats. And 2 minutes of squats, like I have an electronic toothbrush, so it's timed, right? So I know it's 2 minutes. 2 minutes of squats is a long time. Like your legs are on fire. So just doing that when you brush your teeth, just doing squats, like that's a good one too. You could add that in, Neal, and then you'd be covered. Like upper body, lower body, done.
Right. So yeah, brushing your teeth. I like that. I have to have a marker for it. So doing it before I got into the shower was a really great thing. Instead of just saying do 30 push-ups sometime during the day. No, that didn't work for me because the day passed by and I missed it. So have that specific marker. Like I'm getting ready to get in the shower. I'm like, oh, not yet. 30 push-ups. Then you get in the shower.
Neal does them naked. I guarantee it.
That's also motivation that if you do them naked and you don't like what you're seeing, you're like, I'm doing these until it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think we work out in front of the mirror? It's motivation. It's look at that muscle popping. I love it. Let's go.
If anybody walked in right now, they would scream, I'm doing these until the day they don't. They go, ooh.
All right. So we're going to go on to 11 time management habits to increase your daily productivity. So the first one is to define your purpose and what are your goals. So time management is not only work, it's also family, friends, education, spirituality, intimate relationships, health. Work is one of them. Yeah. Like adventure is one too. There's a lot of different categories. At the end, we're going to do an exercise. But so when you think about what is your purpose, like what are your goals in life? If you want to be fit and flexible and feel good till you're 100, like Neal's doing, you need to do some kind of physical activity, right? If you want to build your business to a multi-million-dollar business, you've got some work to do with your business, right? So it's like figuring out what are your goals and what's your purpose, which is really important to be able to move forward with the action you need to take, which is the next one, which is to not become complacent and to take action. So a lot of times if you set a goal and you have purpose in what you want to do and you're driven to do it, the sooner you do it, the more likely you are going to finish it, which sounds so obvious. But when I heard that quote, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. The longer you wait to start that goal, the longer it's going to be until you actually accomplish it. So it's like, you're excited about it, just start it. Like, get going. Don't wait. Just take action. That's huge. One thing that a tool that I use that's helped me a ton is Motion. I made a reel about Motion, a Tip Tuesday, I don't know, sometime in the last year. And it's basically a time management software that uses AI. So you enter in your to-do, your tasks, you say how long it's going to take, when you need it done by, and then the priority for it. There's some other parameters you can put in there, but I don't use all the tools. So I just use it for basic tasking. And then it incorporates with your current Google Calendar and it works in that to-do list around your current schedule. So I go through phases where I use it and phases where I don't. And I just got back on it this week and I have gotten so much done. Like it's unbelievable how much I've gotten done because it tells me it's okay. On Monday, you have a shoot from 9 to 10. You'll be home by 10:30. You need to send this email. You need to finish that social content. You need to upload your videos. You need to plan out the podcast. You need to plan your team meeting. Like it's all the things that I need to do, all these little tiny tasks that don't take long, like 10 minutes a task, 15, sometimes 30. We are moving our course to a new platform, which is about a 3-hour process for me to move everything over and get it all reformatted. And so that was in there. And I have that broken up into 1.5-hour chunks. So an hour and a half was yesterday and an hour and a half was today. So you can break up the tasks if they're larger to where they span across multiple days. I also shot a wedding 2 weeks ago. That was fun. With my nephew's wedding, it was actually a lot of fun. But I had to edit and cull that down. 2,500 photos. I got it down to 550. Got that edited this week, thanks to Motion telling me what I had to do. So it's just a really good way. Like, and if you don't get a task done today, it'll just reorganize all the tasks that you need to do in order of priority for tomorrow.
I was just going to say, you put like a number, a weighted number, like 1 is most important or something like that. So it knows how to spread it out.
It just has the due date and it has the priority. And then it'll have the tasks that you missed that are like,
it has a priority. If you have 10 things, you can put a different priority for each one.
Yeah. You can put high priority, urgent.
And so if it can't fit in even all of them, then the next day, maybe it'll work in one of the lower priority ones.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. I cheat sometimes. You should be doing this right now. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go do the one later on today and I'll come back to that one next. That one looks hard. I want to do that one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like that one. Yeah.
That is actually one of the habits on here. So we'll get to that. But yeah, Motion is an incredible app to use. I think it's $6 a month or $10 a month or something. It's not that much, but it's worth it because it actually gets me. And anytime I have a task, I just go into Motion and add it. And then I added a widget on my phone for Motion. So I have it actually like big on the screen of my phone so I can see what my tasks are. So doing good this week. Next one is procrastination is the enemy of productivity. Fight it. I used to be like the queen of procrastination. I used to be so bad about putting things off. How about you, Neal?
Oh, so good at procrastination. Yeah, especially in college. Ooh, yeah. I could wait till the last day, next day that paper was due, and I'd pull an all-nighter, get that sucker done. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would dread it. I would dread it, so I wouldn't do it for the longest time. I would find an excuse to not do it. Yeah.
And procrastination is like masturbation. You always end up fucking yourself. It is. That's so true. I love that analogy. It's so true. So basically what they're suggesting for the habit is like the tasks that you think are the most boring or the hardest, do those first. Like just get them done. Even though you're fighting it, if you get those done, you're not going to dread it the rest of the day. It's going to be over and then you can do the fun tasks and you can do them with a full heart, your full focus. You're not going to be thinking like, oh gosh, I have to do that next, or dreading that. And that can steal your joy and rob you from that flow state that you can get into when you're doing those tasks that really fill your soul. Make sure you get those hard ones done first. Do the boring ones first so you can move on to the fun ones. Don't eat your dessert first, right? Like you wait to eat your dessert last so you can fully enjoy it. I don't know. Yeah.
I eat my dessert first, so I don't
You do not.
I do sometimes.
Oh my God. You break all
But
the
I'm not,
rules.
it's not, we don't have a standard like, here's your dinner, and then like later my wife's, look what I made for dessert. That doesn't, no, it's just Neal goes like into the kitchen, I'm gonna eat some pie. And then I'm like, well, I should probably eat some regular food too.
I love it. Neal's breaking all the rules. Don't do what Neal does, guys. Just
No.
eat your dinner and then you get dessert. You'll feel much happier, trust me. Yeah. Okay. There's also a way to help fight procrastination and to help you stay focused, which I should have done this today because I sat down I had meetings from 8:30 until 11:30, like on Zoom calls. And then I was exhausted. I was just like spent. So I went and lay down, took an hour nap. And then the beauty of working from home when you don't have any shoots. Then I woke up and I was like, okay, I gotta go get to work. So I made some coffee. It's like 1:30. And I'm like sitting there at my desk all day until 5:00, 5:30 actually. And I didn't get up. I didn't do much at all. Like a lot of times I'll work for 30 minutes and then I'll go do the dishes for 10 minutes and then I'll come back and work for 30 minutes, go let the dog out, come back. So basically what they're suggesting is that you work for 25 minutes and then you take a 5-minute break. And in that 5-minute break, you're standing up, you're moving, you're getting the blood flowing again. It just rejuvenates you. It's supposed to be a great way to get more like small chunks of productivity done so you don't get burnt out and tired. It was like when I sit there for an hour and a half and then I stand up, I'm like all stiff. I'm like, dude, but I had a hard workout yesterday. I did a whole new leg workout and I'm like, I can barely walk, but it's good. But anyways, yeah. So if you
Squats, was that squats while you're straight ironing your hair or?
No, so I joined the gym because I had hip surgery and I have to do PT. And the PT they have me doing is like full on like personal training, like hard, heavy weightlifting to get me strong. And I can't do what I need to do in my home gym. So I joined the gym. It was so cheap. It was like $36 a month. I thought it was going to be like $100 a month. So I've been like dragging my feet. And I was like, what? That's it? I was like, okay. If I go once or twice a week, it's totally worth it. Right. So anyway, so I went to the gym and I've been doing the same leg workout from PT and then at the gym, like PT one day a week. And then I have the gym another day a week. So I get 2 days basically of legs a week. And this week I didn't go to PT and I was like, I'm going to mix up my workout. So I did all new leg moves and added weight. And yeah, I'm sore. It's good. It's good. It means it's working when it hurts. Yeah. Anyways, get up, dance, do some jumping jacks, whatever, do some push-ups, do 5 push-ups, do 5 minutes of working out and then go back to work. You'll feel invigorated. One thing I did, so I always work out in the morning, Neal. Like I usually try to work out before 7 a.m. That's because I have all this energy and I'm a morning person. And since I've been going to the gym, I've been going in the afternoon at 2:00, which is usually when I'm like dropping off. Like I am done working by 2 or 3. Like my mind I'm spent. I'm ready for a nap and I want to eat dinner and I want to chill, right? Because I'm up at 5 or 6 thinking and going that early.
Rachel's 80 and she goes to bed at 4.
I go to bed at 6 p.m. But no, so I've been working out at 2, 3 in the afternoon. I am like fully energized the rest of the day. It's crazy. This like midday workout thing, there's something to it. So if you're able to do that, if you're not shooting, winter could be a good time to do that. You know?
Yeah.
Do some push-ups. Yeah. Anyways, okay. I feel like we're getting a little sidetracked here.
Us never.
Never. Love it. That's why it's called shooting the shit. Didn't know. This is why. This brings me to eliminating interruptions. This is a great segue into this.
Great segue.
Neal and I are the king and queen of interruptions. So you need to work in like a quiet place. Turn your phone off. Tell your family and friends that you need X amount of time to get your work done so they know the expectation. Which today, I don't have an office that I work in. I work just upstairs. It's this little desk in my kitchen. At the end of my kitchen into my living room is this little desk area, and that's where I work. And it's usually fine. But today my husband got home from work and I was still working and he was just like, hanging out, sitting there, so distracting for me. Like just him sitting in the room. He was on his phone doing his own thing, but he was just, I could see him out of the corner of my eye. And I was
Yeah.
just like, I can't.
Well, plus Rachel, if you don't know her husband, he's always shirtless. So
It's freezing here today. And we had a little mini
even
fire.
more distracting, he was nipping.
That was it. Yes, you're right. You're right. My daughter put Easy Mac in the microwave without adding water. She forgot to put the water in like 5 days ago, and it almost burnt the house down.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh, so much smoke was billowing out of the microwave. I have to throw the microwave away. It smells so bad. So I opened the door to the microwave and it was just like, this totally dark gray smoke comes out and it's just like this pile of black noodles and melted plastic all around it, all around the microwave. It's disgusting. And the whole house reeked like burnt plastic, like everywhere. I left the windows open for 4 days. I think it still stinks.
That's insane.
It was scary. Anyways.
Yes, they're very distracting.
Yeah, all the windows have been open. My house is cold, so my husband had his shirt on. But yeah, he is distracting. Anyways, yeah, so eliminate those interruptions.
Now we know the real reason why Rachel can't accomplish things.
Yeah, my husband's too freaking hot, dang it.
Get it.
Honey, put some clothes on.
No hot husbands. My wife gets a lot of work done.
I'm
kidding. I'm kidding. It's because I'm in the basement and she can't see me. Or the first.
Okay, so stop multitasking is the next one, which they always say like women can multitask and men can't, which is okay. The women can do the dishes and clean, do all kinds of stuff. Not that women just clean. That's not right. I shouldn't say that. But I feel like for me, I don't know if I multitask better than a man, but I think multitasking is not the best because you're not really focusing on what you're doing. You're thinking about multiple things, which means you can't give your full attention to one thing if you've got 3 or 4 things going on in your brain.
Yeah, lately they've done studies that have basically proven that you cannot, as much as you think you multitask, you're really not. You're splitting focus. You might be really good at splitting focus, but you're still splitting focus.
Yeah.
So multitasking is not, you're always going to be more efficient focusing on one thing. You're going to be way more productive.
Yeah, our brains literally cannot do 2 things at once. Like it's one or the other. Like you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if you're thinking about one thing, your energy is going to go that direction. So make sure you're focusing on one thing. So it's when you multitask, what you're actually doing is making your brain rapidly switch from one task to another, which has been shown to negatively impact your efficiency. So
yeah,
it's not good. Yeah.
No, that's the whole reason they came up with a assembly line. That's why you just focus on one thing. You just do one thing and you do it really well. Mm-hmm. The whole line goes way faster than if you're trying to do assemble every single part of that car or whatever the case is. It's just not what we excel at.
Yeah. And it doesn't allow you to fully get into that zone. Like I talked a little bit about that flow state and that when you get into the zone and you're working on something really hard and you're focused and you're flowing and you feel good and you lose track of time, like when you're doing multiple tasks, you can't get into that flow state. Like you really can't get focused enough to get into your work. So it's not good.
Yeah.
So don't multitask. Next is to set deadlines, which I think this is a really important one because I think a lot of times we set a goal, we say what we want to do, but then you're like this course that I've been creating forever. Guys, I have created multiple courses that I have done. I have like ridiculous. I have worksheets. I have everything I need to launch it, but I've never launched it because I've never set a deadline for myself. Like said, it's going to be done on this date until Neal and I decided to do it together. And I was like, Neal, let's do it together. Like, I really just want to do it with someone. It'll be good. We can hold each other accountable. Like we can do this. We can set this up. So we have a deadline of the end of August, which this will be launched after this, to get our new course platform set up and running. So we don't have to pay the fee of the old one one more month. So it's setting these deadlines is huge because it actually holds you accountable to get something done. And then it gives you the action steps. Like I'd say, okay, I need to move everything over to this new course platform. This is going to take me, like I said, like 3 hours to move everything over. And then I've got to edit a couple things because we've gotten notes back from our test subjects. We're like, hey, you should do this and this. So we've got a few edits to make. I know that's going to take me about 5 or 6 hours. So now I can pencil that into the next few weeks. And I know that I'm going to be able to get it done on time because I've actually broken down my goal and figured out what steps I need to do to actually get there. So by setting deadlines, you're actually setting yourself up for success because you can actually allot time for everything that needs to get done in order to meet that deadline and that
Yeah,
goal.
because how many times if you ever worked on a project for somebody and they were like, "Yeah, I don't really have a hard deadline for that." That thing lingers forever. But if they had just said we need it in 2 weeks, you would have had it done in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So it
And
is
that's
good
like
to,
for shooting for real producers, they usually give me like 10 days. I need to shoot and get the photos back within 10 to 15 days. Like it's a pretty quick turnaround. And he warned me about that. He's usually the last minute. Was that going to be a problem? I was like, no, I can totally do that for you. And sometimes I just work better with those tight deadlines. Like I have so much going on, but I'm like, we'll make it work. It won't take me that long to do it. I'll just make it happen. And sometimes I sacrifice a workout or I sacrifice a little bit of family time, but it's not, it's amazing to me how much I can actually get done when I'm under a time crunch.
yeah.
I get so
No,
much
true.
more done.
And I think it's important to say too that when you're setting deadlines for yourself, it's easy to cheat. But somebody said, and I wish I could think of it. I've tried to think of it, but I can't really come up with it. But the idea behind it was really cool. Was this idea of if you set a goal for yourself that I'm going to do 30 push-ups before I get in the shower, like I'm doing, that you have to, you got to set that goal that you can accomplish. It's possible to accomplish. So if you set this deadline, it has to be within a time frame that's possible to accomplish. So start there. It has to be accomplished, something you can accomplish. But then also they said, think about it this way, that you are making a promise to yourself and that you should really take that seriously, because some statistic about this, I don't know, but basically they said when you break a promise to yourself, what you're actually doing is negatively impacting your self-esteem. You're knocking your self-esteem down because you are not holding up to your end of the bargain for yourself even. And I thought,
you're not valuing
that's interesting.
Yeah. Because think
so
about
somebody
if it
who's
was a
not
client, you would never miss the deadline
right.
for a
No.
client. But why do we allow ourselves to miss that deadline for ourselves?
You wouldn't want to let them down, right?
As our clients, like
yeah, you wouldn't, even if it's the simplest thing, I wouldn't want to let them down. But we do it to ourselves all the time. But it's interesting that the more goals you set for yourself and you don't ever start to go after them, and you're not at least heading in the direction of those are the things that are in the back of your head knocking you down and you feel crappy about. It's because you're letting yourself down.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So don't let yourself down. Make a promise to yourself, set a hard deadline, and then accomplish it. And the opposite will be true. You're going to feel good.
Yep, 100%. I can't tell you how many times I beat myself up over this stupid course. I'm like, I should have a course by now. I see other people launch courses and I'm like, dang it. I should have done it.
But it's happening.
It's done. It's done. It's out to the world and we are ready to sell it to you. If you want to learn how to shoot headshots, we got you covered, peeps.
We got you.
Check links in the bio. We can get 50% off for a limited time.
That's right.
Yeah. And it'll be on the new course platform. You check that out. Yeah. Okay. Next one is to don't check your email so often. Set designated times to do it. So when you set up Motion, the app that I was telling you about, the organizational app, you can set up for things that repeat every day. So one of mine is check my email, and that is on my calendar every day. So you could set that for 3 times a day for 5 minutes.
I was going to say, you must check it more than once. There's no way I could only check it one time, because I know somebody would reach out about something important later in the day or something. Yeah, so you do it a couple times.
That's the hard thing with this business, because we have to respond so quickly. We want to make sure we get that job. We want to make sure we're checking that email. Like I was obsessive over my email before I had an assistant, and she's obsessive over our email, and I still see them come through and I'll respond right away. I'm still in there quite often, and I'm deleting things, like keeping it as clean as possible so it's organized. But now, like, my assistant's running the phones and the emails full time, and she labels emails that are important for me to check at the end of the day. And if it's something that needs attention right away, she'll text me and say, Rach, check your email. But I'm really trying to only do it once a day, honestly. But here's the thing. If you email is a slippery slope, because you set out the time and you designate this time to get one of these tasks done. Then you're like, oh, I'll just check my email real quick. And then it's like someone asking you like, hey, so-and-so, the owners want to see this video that you did a year and a half ago. Can we have access to it? And you're like, oh yeah, let me put it on a YouTube private so they can view it. Like, I'm not going to charge them, the homeowners, for it, but I got to go upload it. Like I did that today, literally. And I was like, oh, it'll just take me 5 minutes, but that's 5 minutes that you're taking away from another task. So if you have that designated time, I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day checking my email, and that's when I'm going to go through and get all those things done. That's a good use of your time.
It's great that you have her triaging that important stuff too. So the stuff that's not important, there's a whole thing about that whole, like, I forget the 3 categories that is important and has to be done now, or is important but can be done later, or isn't important and can be done later. If you're triaging those that way, it eliminates a lot of the junk that you waste your time on that really should be focused on it's important and needs to be done now things.
But I think it's important to note too that like email is a big part of our business, and there are going to be, it might need to take up 2 hours of your day or an hour of your day. So if that's the case, just make sure you're allowing that time for that. So you're not stressing trying to do it in and around everything. Make sure you have the time allotted to actually get that done.
Yeah. And what I'll do on mine is sometimes I'll check periodically through the day, like after a shoot, just before I start driving somewhere else, I'll just check the email real quick and make sure it's nothing critical. If it's not critical, I mark it as unread again. So that I'll go back and look at it later. If it's something that's not important, I just archive it. I swipe it right off my thing right away, so it's gone. And so really the only stuff that's left on my email are the things that I need to go back and take a look at. Yeah. So and if it's
so it's all about like when you check your email, just delete what's not important, respond to what is important, right? That's like urgent right now, and then go back to handling your more important tasks that you were doing. Yeah, like just get back to it.
Yeah,
don't get sucked down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, in our business, you're going to have those clients that either leave you a voicemail, text you, or email you, hey, could you do this shoot this week? If you don't get back in a timely manner and fairly quickly, they're maybe if it's within an hour, they probably already called somebody else and already got it booked. So you do have to periodically check these things. So
yeah. But if you get online ordering set up through HD Photo Hub, they can just go online and do that themselves, and it'll eliminate a lot of those emails. So.
Yeah, it's usually a new client scenario where they don't know what somebody told them, hey, he's good, call him. And so those are usually the scenarios where I found if I don't respond quick enough, and one way you can respond quickly and just before you go to your next thing is set up an email template that says, hey, thanks for reaching out, which I have. Thanks for reaching out. You know what? I think we do have some time next week, or whatever that one little generic line is that you can change one line if it's not next week or whatever. And the rest is, here's how you book. It's the easiest thing to do if you just book it online, because my schedule changes frequently and all my agents have access to this. So it could change on a dime. So go ahead and book it and grab it. If you know the time, I'd recommend you grab it right now. So I have that template. And I'll just send that to them. So,
that's
but
nice.
if I'm not paying attention for those, then you could miss out.
Yeah, totally. Yep. So another one is to keep your inbox empty. Keep it at 0 if you can. That way it's just easier to manage. Delete all the stuff you don't need. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone in my email and I see like stupid freaking marketing and sales stuff that gets me. Like, I'm like, oh, what is this? This is interesting. And I'll go in and read this like sales email that has nothing to do with what I'm focusing on at the minute. And I'll catch myself halfway through it. I'm like, Rachel, you're not buying another course.
Yeah.
Stop it. Get back to what you were doing. Careful.
Email doesn't get me as much, but what it does get me is social media. Every time that somehow my brain, my ADD brain, I think is what it is, I will go to social media with a specific intent that, oh, that's right, I wanted to post that story. And I get on there and 15 minutes later I go, wait, why am I on here again? What am I doing? So it's very hard not to get lost on there, I feel like. Yeah.
Like today I went upstairs to put lipstick on and grab my little converter thing to plug in my mic to my laptop. And I went upstairs and put lipstick on and came down and I forgot my converter. And then I was like, shit, seriously? And then I go and get the converter and I was like, oh, I should grab a drink while I'm up there too. And then I come down and I forgot the drink. I'm like, okay, goodness.
Yeah. I think our brains are very similar. Now, if I come down with lipstick on, I'm additionally frightened for what's happening with my brain, but
we have problems, Neal. Okay. So we need to stay focused on our priorities. That's the next one. So creating a to-do list is a great step to increasing your productivity and time management skills. It's like having a roadmap and a list of what to do is like the only way to accomplish your goals, because you're going to forget. You're going to get sidetracked. Having it written down somewhere is going to ensure your success. And it'll help you to take your steps daily or weekly that you need to do to get to that end goal. So having a map is a real value for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One little thing I've just started trying to do, and I'm just trying to figure out even how to do it, but somebody said that they recommend that you do your to-do list for tomorrow, the night before. And then you take that and you actually schedule it like you're doing.
Mhm.
And so when you actually do that the night before, you plan your day tomorrow, you might already have stuff scheduled for your shoots or whatever, but in whatever that time is left, you say, okay, in that morning, or if you always block off a morning slot to accomplish things, then, or an evening one or both, whatever, if you schedule some breaks for yourself, then you say at that night, okay, so here's my list of things that I know I need to accomplish. What is most important to get done in that slot tomorrow? And then you plug that in for the next day and you hold yourself accountable to actually do it. So I'm working on that, but
I
the
absolutely
nighttime
love that
helps.
one. No, I love that one, Neil. And here's why. For me, and I think most entrepreneurs out there, like I'm a morning person, but I will hit snooze 16 times if I can. I know
Mm,
that I don't have something I have to, especially, I don't know what, we have a lot going on right now. So personally, so I'm more tired and more stressed than I normally am. But so the
yeah.
last 3 or 4 months, it's been like I've been sleeping in till probably 6 or 7 every day. I set the alarm for 6, 5:30. I try to get 7 hours of sleep. So 7 to 7.5. So it depends on when I go to bed, right? If I
Hmm.
go to bed later, if it's midnight, then I'm sleeping until 7:30. But anyways, if I set an intention for the morning for what I'm going to do and what I'm going to accomplish, like, okay, I'm going to get up at 6:30. I'm going to drink coffee and read my book for an hour. And then I'm going to go to the gym. And then I've got to be in the shower by 9 because I have
Hmm.
to be leaving the house at 10. If I have the steps in my mind the night before, like what you're saying, set up a plan for your morning so that you know you have to get up to go do something. Like I'm looking
Yep.
forward to drinking my coffee and reading my book
Right.
on the couch. Like that's so cozy and warm
Because
to me.
otherwise, yeah,
Otherwise, you won't
you'll
do
hit
it.
the snooze. That's right. You hit the snooze
Yeah.
as many times until you have to leave for your shoot, and then
Yeah.
you missed out on an hour that you could have accomplished a few of those little things and knocked them
Mhm.
off the list.
And honestly, like my mornings are pretty open. Like I usually have 2 hours to do
Mm,
whatever I want. That's my me time. And
yeah.
I lately have just been wanting to sleep. I'm like, I don't even want to get up and do the things I need to do, like my journaling and my
Yeah.
reading and meditation,
Yeah,
all
or
that
even
stuff.
at
Like I just
nighttime
don't.
when I know I have to get up because I have to work on that thing for an hour in the morning that I promised myself I'd get done, then I know that, okay, I'm not going to watch 2 extra episodes tonight and stay up later than I should, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
Um,
funny. It does make a difference though,
it
just like
does.
focusing on it and going, oh, I'm going to do all these things. Then you get up and you're already heading in the right direction because you already planned it out. Yeah.
Yes. Another thing to do is here's 2 things that I've learned in the
Hmm.
last 6 months. One is to obviously don't hit snooze, just get up. But the first thought that you
Yes.
should
Yeah.
have, which is like so hard for me, it's so
Me
warm and
too. Me
comfortable.
too.
I'm like, I don't want to get up. But, anyways, when the first thing you think, like when you get out of bed, is just think to yourself, today's going to be a freaking awesome day.
Mm,
Just start it out with that positive affirmation of today is going to be the best day, and then get up and go do it. Go make it the best day.
mm.
That's like a very powerful statement to say first thing in the morning.
Today's going to be the best day. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
the other thing is to name 3 things that you're grateful for. Start your day off with gratitude. That's always a good one.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Those are 2 pretty powerful ones
Yeah.
that I've put into practice. All right,
Yep.
stop the podcast. I have to interject here. Now, if you are ready to hop on board with HT Photo Hub, if you're ready to make a change in your business, you need to use our promo code, which is STS, because you're not only going to get 50 free credits, you're going to get 150 free credits, which is equivalent
What?
to 15 property websites and I think like 50 site activations. And okay, I know a lot of you already use another platform, but if you want to switch over because you just love what they have, like their marketing kit, the app, property website, all of it, they can help you get your old clients into the new system, and they can make that
Yeah.
seamless for you. They can help you set up your shopping cart. Like it can be a smooth transition, and they give discounts and stuff for bringing you over. There's some good stuff. They're good people. And Neil,
Yeah.
what
And
else? What
if you
else?
want to do the app as well, if you want to do the app like Rach and I have, it's only a one-time fee to set that up and they walk you through everything, which is amazing. If you mention our podcast, STS, they're going to give you 30% off, which is insane. Normally it's $1,000 with the discount. It's $600-700. And see, I told you I didn't know math, didn't I?
700 now.
Wait, $2.
It's
No,
$2.
it's an amazing deal. So check
Yes.
it out if you're interested. But
Yeah.
we'll get back to the podcast.
Let's go. So yeah, okay. The next one is to write things down, which I think is obvious. Like you need to write it down. But they're saying in this list that we found to write things down on a piece of paper because study not in an apps note on your phone because studies have shown that when you actually physically write it down, there's a like physical to brain connection between like actually writing it and it connects more neurons in your brain or something to like embed into your subconscious to make you remember what you wrote down, basically.
That's why I write it right on my forehead.
Well, I love my notepad with my to-do list. And when I go off motion, I go to my to-do list and then I go to a sticky note and then I'm like one sticky note and it gets full and I cross a bunch of stuff off. And then I'm like, okay, I got to transfer it onto a new one and write it down. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I do like the feeling of crossing things out on a piece of paper. Why I got away from that was just because I'm not good at the part that you said, which was the transferring what remained onto a new sheet. So I had 3 sheets back, I forgot about the one thing I didn't do 3 sheets back.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then to rewrite the whole list is a pain. And it's like,
so that's why I like the Trello list I have. But you are right. There is something about writing it. And maybe you have a digital list that tracks it nicely. And maybe from that at nighttime, you can go, these are the 3 things I'm going to do tomorrow. And because you're going to do them all, you don't have to pass them forward. If they're actually accomplishable in the time allotted for the next day, you shouldn't have to transfer them over. And then there we go. I like this. Where's my thing to write on? I got to plan out tomorrow.
Neal.
I'm planning tomorrow. Let's do it. Cool.
Okay.
No, I really am excited about this. I am excited about this. And your positivity, I think that maybe that's part of why it works is because you're already planning your success, that you already feel successful. Like you're already doing positive. You're already feeling positive.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you get things done and you can check that box or like in motion, you click a little circle that completes it and it turns green. It's like, there's so much satisfaction in like pushing that button or checking that thing off. You're like, woohoo. Or like when you're at the grocery store and you get to cross things off that you get and put in your cart.
Yeah.
Like, even that is fulfilling. It's like, why is that? Why
Let's
is
go
that so
grocery
exciting
shopping.
to me? I got something done. Woohoo. Because I'm
Which reminds me,
task-oriented.
we need milk.
Oh, shoot. Neal, you were supposed to get the milk.
Milk. I just wrote it on a random piece of paper.
It's on your forehead.
This
How
is
did
why
you
I
forget
can't do
it?
those things on. I always end up grabbing the my instruction manual to what is this? I really have no idea. Oh, this is things you regret buying. My exercise roller thing for my abs.
How's that
thing's
going?
misery. That's terrible. No,
It's so hard. Is that the one where
Terrible.
you put your hands on the ground, you roll out and roll back? Oh, impossible.
my only smart decision I made was to not buy the $100 one and only buy the $30 one because I'm like, if I don't stick with it, I won't. I want to be out $90. So, yeah, those things are misery. Oh God,
They're hard. It's funny.
push-ups are much better.
I always do abs. Like abs, I like doing sit-ups. Like for some abs are just my thing. And since I've hurt my hip, I can't do abs. I haven't been able to do abs. So I haven't done abs in like over a year. So I'm finally able to do abs again. I'm like, oh, it's hard. It's so hard. Oh, anyways. Okay. So
What's the next one?
I want to talk about this new exercise that I'm doing. So I'm reading High Achievement Habits. I've been reading this book forever, I feel like. I actually started reading it when I had hip surgery. So it's literally been like 4 months that I've been reading this book, but it's a good one. I just haven't read it in 2 months because I've been busy with getting all my things done on my motion list and sleeping in. I've been sleeping in, honestly, and that's my reading
Rachael.
time. I know. I told you I've been stressed, so I'm tired.
Page 1 says no sleeping in on that book.
I know. I'm breaking all the rules. But anyways, there's an exercise in there that he talks about.
I'm sure Rich doesn't want to talk about it, but we've mentioned it twice. Just there's some family health things that have been stressing out the family at Rachel's place. And that's a tricky thing to deal with. Yeah.
It sucks. But it is what it is. We're fine. We're good. Okay. So this is an exercise that you can do weekly. I have been doing it weekly. Every Sunday, I sit down and write out this list. These are the 10 areas of your life for time management. And it's basically a list. I'll read it to you right now. So it's health, family, friends, work, finance, adventure, hobby, spirituality, emotions, and education. So these are the 10 areas of your life that really encompass you as a person, everything about you for the most part. And you rate how you did in this area of your life for the past week and goals you are setting for yourself for the coming week in this area and how you want to improve upon or what you want to change, or maybe you did it perfectly and you just want to continue it the way it is, right? Like health, for instance, would be for me is like, I want to work out 5 days a week. That's my goal. And I want to stop eating sugar so much because I have a serious sweet tooth. I just want cookie dough every day. So I did last week. I worked out 5 days out of the week, which is awesome. Made it.
Wow.
Which
Impressive.
the 2 weeks prior, I only did 3 days a week. I was falling off. And then I joined the gym and I was like, I needed something to get me remotivated. They have classes. I just love going to the gym. There's just something, you just get a better workout. And I've been anti-gym for 7 years. So it's nice to be back. So 5 days a week there and then eating a little bit healthier, which I completely failed last week. So I actually did this exercise this morning because I didn't do it on Sunday. So I was like, I just got to do it today. So health-wise, next week, I want to continue with 5 days a week, and I'm going to try to eat more fruits and vegetables. Number 2 is family. Oh, Neal, let's talk about you for health. We'll just evaluate each other. Let's just give ours. We'll just talk about it because it's fun.
All right.
And maybe people will get to know us a little better.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Okay, so
So
how did you
it's
do
one-
last week on health? And then what's your goals for next week on your health department?
Okay. Yeah. And what's our score again?
I don't know, 1 to 10?
1 to 10, and 10 is great.
Yeah.
Okay. Health. Okay. Food wise or exercise wise, or is it both?
It's all. I don't really give it a number rating. I just write out how I think I did last week.
Okay. Last week, terrible. We were on vacation last
I didn't
week.
do my push-ups.
And oh my gosh, I had the most. I remember eating this thing at the restaurant that was like baked scallops and lobster in this broth of butter and cream. And I remember, and I said to I literally looked at Heidi and I said to my wife, I said, now I think I see how like kings and stuff used to get the gout because they were eating stuff like this every day. You know what I mean? I was like, it was so rich. Yeah. So no, we did a lot of walking and playing at the beach, but food wise, not great. And I missed some of my push-up days just because it wasn't like my regular routine. So it was like,
That's really hard when you travel to stick to your workout routine. Like it is difficult because you're tired, you're out of your element. Like you got to work out in a weird spot. Yeah. Like push-ups on a hotel floor are not cool.
Yeah. And this place was tiny. It's a little cottage that we rent. And so it's like my first apartment was literally almost like my first apartment in Glendale in Los Angeles when I was out in LA, where I remember my sisters came and visited, and just this how I always can tell people the exact size of my apartment. I sat on my twin size bed. My 2 sisters were on an inflatable mattress on the floor. I stepped from my bed over both of them and I was in the bathroom. And between that, there's like my little mini kitchenette thing. So that was my whole apartment. So that's like what this place is. It has one extra room, but it's like twice as big as my old apartment basically. But yeah, if you were going to do push-ups, you're like in the bedroom and half in the bathroom. So yeah, it's weird. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right. So what's your goal for next week for your health?
Okay. So I'm actually listening to Masterclass right now, and I'm listening to their one about your brain and how keeping your brain healthy and all that kind of stuff. So there's the nutrition stuff in there, and there's sleep is a very important one too. So I'm trying to be more cognitive of how much sleep I'm getting. And like you said, I'm actively looking at, I need to actually eat more fruit and vegetables throughout my day. Because normally my fruit and vegetable is I eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That's
and candy and
protein.
soda. Nothing good.
Nothing
wholesome. So I'm trying to like, there are grapes in the fridge. Let's eat some grapes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my goal. I'm going to keep up the 30 push-ups, and I'm going to eat a little better next week.
Love it. All right. Next up is family. You can start. How'd you do last week?
Family was good last week. We had a lot of family time at the beach. That was amazing. That was fun. A lot of Zen time to recoup our brains and stuff too. So last week was good for that stuff. This week is trying to get back into the cycle of things and juggling us both working and Elsie still being home and not back at school yet. School starts in a week or two. We'll struggle.
I know. It's tough. Last week for family, I surprised my husband and went down to his house. He didn't know we were coming. So me and my son. My daughter was out of town for the weekend with her dad, so it was just me and my son. So we hopped in the car at 8 o'clock at night and went down and surprised him and hung out in the garage with our oldest, our 23-year-old, and his buddies were over. We were just kicking it. So that was fun. And then on our way home the next day, Jack was like, Mom, can we please go jump off this cliff? And I'm like, Jack, he like lives down by a lake, so they have lots of water. And I'm like, where is this cliff? He's like, we have to hike in. And I'm like, how far is it? He goes, I don't know, probably like a mile. I'm like, Jack, really? Like, not what I want to do right now. 11 a.m. on a Saturday. I was like, okay, fine. So we parked and we walked. It was legit like a mile hike to get there. And then he had to run and jump out. It was like this cliff that kind of extended out. If he didn't jump the 6 to 8 feet, he would land on dirt and break his back. So I'm looking at it, and we brought the dog. So I'm looking at it like, I'm like, Jack, I don't think this is a good idea. Are you sure people jump this? And he was like, yeah, I've seen people do it. It's fine. I'm like, there's like a rope swing. Are you sure people just don't do the rope swing? Like, but the rope swing was all falling apart and not good. I'm like, you're not doing that. Anyway, so he ended up doing it and he survived, and I got it all in video. It was cute. But so that was really fun. It was like a little adventure and just good family time for him and I bonding, right? And then we walked back, and yeah, that was good. So I had a good week of family. And then when my daughter was back, we hung out a little bit, and like she had another friend over. So it was limited with her. So I felt good about my week with family. Yeah. Going forward this week, I get the kids tomorrow. And yeah, I'm hanging out with my husband tonight after podcasting. So that'll be good. And then, yeah, I don't know what the kids and I are going to do. They want to go to the fair, but I don't want to go on a weekend because I hate lines. So I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. But family's important. It's important for me to carve out special time just for them. Like just stop what I'm doing and just be with them. Because they grow up so fast. Like it's crazy to me how fast time is going. I'm like, geez.
Yeah.
People
And it was scary. It was scary we took 2 weeks this summer separate, not at the same time, but it was scary taking the time off. But that's the same thing I said is if I don't do these things and have a couple fun memories in the summer, all these summers fly by, you know?
Exactly. I know we didn't do like a big family trip this year. We're trying to do one every 2 years. And my daughter's like, where are we going this year? I'm like, I don't think we're going to be able to do a big trip this year, Dev. I'm like, unfortunately, but
do a little trip. Just do what we did. A little Airbnb that's 30 minutes away. That's just a getaway. Like literally just going to this. It's fun going to this little cottage because it's a total different thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing the dishes every night and stuff, but it was fun. It wasn't like a chore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. They went to Vegas in January, just 3 of us. That was their Christmas gift. So they are spoiled. It's not like they didn't get a big gift, but her big trip.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
But and I have a broker who wants me to shoot her Airbnb, which is like a 2.5 hour drive out to a lake. And I'm like, that would be a cool one to bring him to.
There you go.
We might do that. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Next up is friends. Excuse me. I'm posting a reel. I'm going to collaborate. I put the reel on focus, but I'm going to collaborate with shooting the shit so you guys can see it. And I talk about this, but friends is the hardest one for me on this whole list because after family, work, spirituality, like education, like adventure, all that stuff, I have very little time for my friends because my husband is my best friend. Neal, you're my friend, but you're a work friend. I feel like we're friends, but I've never met you in person.
We're always working when we're hanging out. Yeah.
I know. We're always
it's always conversations that relate to work. Yeah.
So for me to actually take time out of my week to hang out with friends is rare. Like I don't hang out with my friends as much as I should. And so this list has helped me, even just calling friends, like being like, you know what, I'm just going to call one of my friends this week, which is good. Like it's good to revisit that. Last week, I'm trying to remember what happened this week. I don't think I hung out with any friends last week, honestly. I did talk to one of my friends last week, so that was good. This coming week, I'm not going to have a lot of time for friends. My week's already booked. I'm like, shoot. So I'm failing in the friends department again. How about you?
Oh yeah, I fail in the friend zone. Yeah, no, I talked to my good buddy about this. My best friend, he lives in Fresno, California. I don't see him. When I lived out there, I would skateboard over his house and we'd watch Game of Thrones or something once a week or whatever, and that was great. Here, it's funny, when I moved back home, I had a million friends growing up here, and they're still around. But moving back from California to here, it was different. Everybody already had their families, and their kids were already older, and they're carting them around to all their sports things. So I don't see friends a lot, and I don't have a lot of time for it either. We're really homebodies, and
Mm.
it is something I would like to work on actually, because I always, as a kid, remember seeing my parents and they never hung out with friends at all. And I remember thinking I wanted to be the parent that had the people over for the parties, the barbecues every weekend or whatever, and always had the friends around. And I always assumed that's who I'd be in my adult life. But here I am in my adult life, and nope, I work most of the time. I probably only have one day really off a week, and I do one thing. If I go on that bike ride that day, there goes the one day I had off, and maybe I watch a video with the family at night or something like that. So I do need to work in more time for friends and family.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do the friend part just because everybody seems to always be so busy. For the friends that I do have, the few things that I do for friends is I try to keep in contact, and I do phone calls and I will chat with them, and at least I get that in.
That's good. I think that counts, Neil, because now you're right. It's hard to actually schedule things in. One of my girlfriends, we have such a good time every time we hang out. We went to the Alanis Morissette concert 2 weeks ago together and had a blast. And she just messaged me, she's, we need to get another date on the calendar. And I was like, okay, guess when we're hanging out next? November. That's the
Yep,
next date that works for
right,
both of us. Like she travels
exactly.
around the world. Like she's a huge
Hmm.
traveler. So she's gone for a long time. But that's how it is. And like another friend of mine, she booked a week. We were going to have a lake day this Saturday. We've
Yeah,
had it planned for 2 months, honestly, 2 months. And she just messaged me yesterday and was like, I have to cancel. I'm so
yeah,
sorry. Like,
yeah.
gonna
It's
work.
really
And I'm
hard.
like, it's okay. I totally get it. My son
So
has football anyway. So,
one thing I was doing with my friend, one of my friends, is we were just doing a lunch thing, and we fell out of it. So I
mm,
did recently call and text him about, or I haven't texted him yet, but I'm going to text him about, just send him a couple dates because that was nice to just schedule one lunch once a month where we just got together, had lunch together, caught up on stuff, and then we go do our work. So it didn't take up the whole day or anything. It was just an hour and a half or something.
mm.
So I will try to get back on that for maybe we can get that going for next week.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, this next one is my favorite because I always get an A in this department. Work. I work a lot and I do a lot in my week. I get it done. It's so funny when you do this, it just brings everything to the surface. It's, oh, wow. It really puts everything into perspective of what areas of your life are lacking or which ones are really
Mm,
excelling.
yeah, it
And like
does.
work has obviously been my focus. And it's funny, I was talking to my husband today about something and he was like, what was it? It was something about he basically asked me like, is there a section in there about overworking yourself? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine. If I didn't love what I did, it wouldn't be okay. But I absolutely love the stuff I'm doing. It
Yeah.
fuels me. But there can be an imbalance. So,
Hmm.
anyways, work last week was really good. I went to a networking event, met a client that I haven't met in person yet. They've been with us for 2 years. So that was crazy and cool. Got a potential new client, a couple other potential new clients. Like, it's just a really good networking event to go to. And I honestly didn't want to go. I was tired and I was like, I don't want to go be social. I don't want to drink wine. Oh my gosh. And I went and I had a great time. I drank wine. I just sucked it up and I'm glad I went. So that was good. So that was a good thing for me to do for work. I also planned a team meeting, which is good. Like I'm trying to do those every week, trying to get
Hmm.
the team more dialed. So yeah, work was good. I had my meeting with my mentors and we talked about some good stuff for the business, which I'm excited about. And yeah, for next week, my goal is to plan another team meeting and then follow up with the team with all the things that we're working on
Mm.
from the team meeting. So
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. I
Yep.
think, well, we'll say this week because last week was vacation, but this week, one thing we did do is we did talk about what we were going to do the next day, one day this week with my wife. We said we're going to go to the studio,
Good.
and I told her I want to do, there was a couple reels I wanted to do. There was three things I wanted to do, and we went to the studio and we actually did all three. And that reminds me, I haven't posted one of them yet. So that was very productive. So that was good. So I want to try and do more of that next week to get to the studio to use the studio for what we the possibilities that it has, why we're so excited to have it, to actually make sure that
Yeah.
we put in some of the time to do those things.
I wish
Yeah,
we lived closer, Neil.
I know. Oh my God. We would have so much fun doing the space is so great. It makes it so
Yeah.
easy for doing content. It's just a matter of making sure I go there because I'm always running around doing the shoots and stuff. And then I would say, I want to say this about this category though. You always excel and I always excel in this category because I work a ton, but maybe because that is our reaction and our spouse's reaction is maybe you work too much, that maybe we should look at it in the framing of, did we accomplish all the goals we wanted to accomplish that week? And did we accomplish the goal of a fair balance
Right.
that we also got all the time in for the extracurricular stuff?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a more relevant way for us to judge how good we were in that category.
Yes.
Because we're great. I can spend right now. I was out all day shooting. I uploaded all my jobs and then I jumped on the podcast with Rachel. And right now it's 11 o'clock at night. And my wife probably is going, guess we're not watching our show. So yes, we are being very productive and very successful in business, but I got to make sure that I have the balance too.
Yeah, no, that is definitely important for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is finance.
Yes.
Finance.
Ooh, finance. God damn.
Yeah. Dirty little word. Last week, I didn't lose my phone. My phone broke. I lost my phone twice in a week for a very long extended period of time, which was ridiculous. Anyways, then it broke. And every time I'd lose it, I'm like, maybe this is a sign that I need to get the iPhone 15 Pro. Like maybe it's just time I upgrade. I have the 14 Pro. It's fine. Twice in 1 week. And then the following week, my phone just breaks. Like I've only had it for a year and a half. I couldn't text. I couldn't call. I couldn't turn it off. The only way I could turn it off is if I asked Siri to turn it off. I couldn't navigate, but I could use Snapchat and Instagram. So that was good. At least I could still communicate with people that I needed to communicate with. But thank goodness I have an assistant. This happened on a Tuesday night when I was at an event an hour and a half away from home. Like I couldn't charge my electric car because the app that I needed to charge it, like I couldn't get the app to work. And I was far away from home. So I was panicked about charging anxiety. I'm like, this is so dumb. I'm sure when I got to the charging station, you could just pay with a card there, but I've never done that. So I didn't know. I'm like, maybe what if it doesn't work? And I'm just stuck. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so I got a new phone, which I had to pay off my old phone, which was like $700. New phone is like $1,500. So I financed that and paid off the $700. I'm like, whatever. It's what it is. And then I had, of course, it's got a new charging port, the C port. So I got the 15. And so I had to buy all the new accessories and they had just stuff that I don't need. And the Airbnb needed stuff, but didn't really know. So I bought extra pillows and I got just stuff that we need but don't need. It's always something that I think that is really important and it's not. And that's why I don't have more money in savings because I always buy stupid shit. Like, dang it, Rachel. Last week was not terrible. I didn't go clothes shopping or buy expensive things per se, but just little purchases that I didn't need to purchase. This week, I'm going to try really hard to not go out to eat because I did go out to eat 3 days last week and to just not buy anything on Amazon. Amazon is the devil. I'm convinced. How about you, Neal?
Oh, last week was our vacation, but it was also my wife's birthday.
Oh,
so as
cool.
you can imagine, I did not do well financially. It was not a winning week and there was no jobs happening. And no. Today I had 3 jobs today, so that's good. I'm like, thank goodness. I'm working 2 jobs tomorrow, even though it's Saturday. That's good. I have Sunday off and next week there's stuff on the calendar, so that's good. But finances need work. We need to really work on our finances. Right now we have a little better money coming in, so I did chip away at a couple things by sending some extra payments on top of the regular payments for things. But yeah, there's a lot to be accomplished or that should be accomplished in our finances as far as planning goes, as far as chipping away at things, debt that we have. There's a lot to be done there. So next week I'll work hard to try and start to get back on track. And then we've also got to really iron out some of our goals and things we're going after for advertising and posting, that we have the studio space to get more people in there and to really start. That's the biggest thing. There's 2 things I guess that I want to get going is me back into work more, obviously, but then Heidi getting her more consistently booked in the studio space will be a really big help once that gets rolling.
That makes sense. Totally. Yeah.
Yep.
Next is adventure.
Sure.
Yeah. I told you about the
You
trip.
had tons of adventure with
I
jumping
always have
off
adventure.
cliffs.
I just am like spontaneous and I just wanted do fun things. I might suggest to my husband that we go skydiving this coming week. He wanted to go. And I was like, is that really the
I love
see,
that that's
this
a
is where this
casual
conflicts with
discussion.
finance, because these are the things that I do. I'm just like, let's go spend $700 and jump out of an airplane. That
Yeah.
sounds great. Who cares?
I love that that's just a casual thought. Hey, let's go skydiving. Like,
We go
because
every year.
they just do that on a whim now and again. That's not.
We go once
Oh
a year
boy.
and we haven't gone yet. So
Yeah.
we need to go. And his birthday's coming up and it's something he absolutely loves to do. And financially, no, we should not be doing this right now at all. This is not in the budget, but it sounds like a lot of freaking fun and he'd go apeshit over it. He'd be so excited. So might do that. How about you?
Somebody's going skydiving.
That's so fun.
Wait, what was?
Do it.
Oh, adventure. I'm like, wait, what was the category? Because we started talking finance again. Adventure. We had tons of adventure.
Mhm.
There were huge waves at the ocean where we had our little cottage. And my daughter and I went out to the sandbar and ran around and jumped over waves. And we had fun. We did a lot of skipping stones into the ocean. And yeah, we had plenty of adventure this past week. And then I always try to find adventure in the work that I do. There's always adventures to be had when I'm out on the road going to new places and new things. I try to go a little further down that trail that they said there's a trail next to the house, or see what's down there, or, whatever, a stop at a restaurant I haven't been to, or take a little detour if I see something interesting on the way home or something like that. And that's one of the bonuses you have of having your own business. You can go drive down that road for a minute and see what the heck's going on.
Mm.
But yeah, so I'll do that for my adventure as usual. I don't know about anything extravagant, probably nothing crazy that would cost money at this point because we got to recover from.
Yeah, but you
from
could do
taking-
something like go ride your mountain bike. That's an adventure.
Yes,
You
I
know?
do need
Or,
to. I
like,
need
take
do
your
need
daughter-
more of the mountain bike.
Take your daughter on a walk somewhere new or go check something out. I mean, it doesn't have to cost money. It can be
Yeah,
anything.
no,
It's just
no,
like
you're
being
right.
sporadic and doing something a little fun.
Yeah, I do. The times we've gone on walks, there's a Audubon Society near us where there's trails to go hike out, and she used to like to go. Tried to get her to go recently. She don't want to go. She doesn't want to ride her bike recently, but yeah, I've got to, that's a good point. I got to make sure that we get a couple more things in before she's back to school, and I wish I had more days that we could go do things out in the nice weather. So
I know.
that's a good point. Yep.
I know we have had like cloudy, crappy weather for a week, and it's going to be nice again next week. I'm like, thank goodness. 77. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So we're going outside. Okay. Next up is hobby. It's like hobbies that you have. I love to golf. I haven't been able to golf because of my hip for like over a year. And I finally got released to golf this last month. So that's exciting. So I am going to take my daughter on Tuesday. My son has football from 6 to 8, and the little golf center is literally 5 minutes from the school where he practices. So I'm going to take my daughter and we're going to go down and hit a bucket of balls, eat some food, maybe do the putt. We'll see how much time we have. But that is going to be my hobby goal for this week. Last week I failed because I didn't do any of my hobbies. Nothing. I just cleaning the house count as a hobby. I cleaned a little. No.
Probably
No,
not.
that's lame. No, I
I
barely
mean, I
even played with the
hope it's
chickens.
not-
I didn't even check on the chickens for 2.5 days straight. I always go down and let them out every day, and I didn't even go down. I was like, they're fine. I'm just busy. Yeah. Then I went down. There was like 8 eggs. I'm like, yes, girls, laying. Woohoo! We only have 3 that lay eggs right now, but soon we will have 9, 8 because we have a rooster. But anyways, okay. What's your hobby?
You got to spend more time with your chickens then. Get that time in.
Chickens,
And
gardening,
Cleaning the
riding
house is not a
surons. We
hobby,
went-
so you can't calculate that. No.
What is what?
Cleaning the house is definitely not a hobby. Just to cover
That's
that, make sure we're
lame.
clear about that. That does not count.
That's lame if that's a hobby. That's just
Yeah.
like a chore. But yeah, riding surons. My son and I went and rode surons last month. It was amazing. So fun.
Road
He
what's
got one.
what?
Surons, so it's an electric dirt bike.
Oh yeah, okay.
They're super fun. So
Yeah.
he has been saving his money for over a year to get one. He finally saved enough. So we drove 4.5 hours to go get him one, picked it up, went back 2.5 hours to Cleellum, rode for 2 hours, went and stayed at a house, woke up in the morning, went and rode for another 2 hours, and then drove home another 2 hours home and went to my daughter's soccer game. Yeah, we're insane.
Yeah,
I'm crazy.
nobody's feeling bad for your hobbies and entertainment categories. Clearly, you're doing
No
plenty
lack
of fun.
adventure here.
Plenty,
That was like
plenty of
last month.
fun things. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Hobbies. Yeah. I want to do more of the mountain bike. Already talked about that. One exciting thing is I did order for the winter studded snow tires for my mountain bike because my brother-in-law he literally goes and packs the trails with his snowshoes, and then he rides them on his fat bike. He has one of those big fat bikes. So I don't have a fat bike, but my tires are pretty fat, and with the study tires, I should be able to do it too. So I'm excited that at the potential that I could still even ride in the winter. And then I also listened to a masterclass, Judd Apatow, which really got me excited about comedy stuff and just writing a screenplay or some stand-up stuff. And so I think I should have to put that in a category of to-dos to continue to work on some old screenplays that I worked on years ago that kind of just left on the shelf forever. So I'd like to do that and maybe even consider going and doing an open mic again, just not for anything other than to the fun of it, which was one of the things I picked up from listening to that thing. It was like, yeah, I should just go do it just for the fun, just no expectation, just to go do it again. So I might do that. Yeah.
Cool. I love it. Next up is spirituality, which this can be if you're religious, if you have a meditation practice. It's really just, I think part of it is turning inward and just listening to that inner voice too can be a spiritual practice. It's not necessarily like having to be believing in anything in particular, but for me, I believe in God, and I started reading the Bible last week again, taking kind of a long pause from that. I listened to V1 is a church out of New York, and I listened to the pastor on Spotify. So I listen to him every week. So I listened to his sermon, and he was teaching Leviticus, which is, if you've ever tried to read Leviticus, it's, what am I reading? I can't connect to this. The Bible is like the living word, right? You read it and it comes to life. It gives you so much inspiration. You can relate to it on different aspects of your life and whatnot. And Leviticus to me was like, I don't get it. It's a bunch of rules that he sets out for the people. And the way he explained it to us was like so enlightening. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I actually read it and I just found so much more joy in reading it. So it was interesting to go back and reread that chapter that I've tried to read in the past and just gave up on because I was like, this is boring to read. Doesn't apply to my everyday life, like whatever. Anyways, so spiritual practice has been good on the last week. And this week going forward, I'm going to continue to probably read something. I want to read Proverbs or something. I don't know where I want to go. I want to read Jacob again. We'll see. So anyways, just messing with that. But yeah, so spirituality, I feel pretty good with my practice. And I talk to God literally all day, every day. He's my buddy. I listen to Christian music everywhere I go. I'm like 100% obsessed. One of my son's friends, moms, she told Jack that she likes me because I listen to Christian music. And I was like, how does she know that I listen to Christian music? And I'm like, I do rock it with the windows down when I go drop you off at practice every day. So she probably hears it. Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Probably the yelling Jesus out the windows as you pull up.
My God is an awesome God.
I do know that one. I do know
that's
that
like one of my favorite songs.
From heaven above. Yeah. See?
Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to sing anymore because it's not good. But anyway, spirituality, I'm rock solid.
Nothing makes you sound like a nerd like singing that song.
I'll own it if that's what it takes.
Hey, that's the way to be, man. She ain't afraid, peeps. She ain't afraid.
Yep. He's my rock. He keeps me going. Yeah. How about you? Spirituality.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. Not as connected right now. A couple weeks ago, I guess last month, the other week I took off was to go to Reunion, which is run by the church, and that's where I used to do my summer camps in the summer. We never did as much as Reunion. We always did the summer camp. The summer camp doesn't exist anymore. So now we go to the Reunion, which is a week of a lot of the fun stuff, but then there's a big spiritual element to that. So I did get to connect a bit when we did that. But since then, I don't know. I haven't really... I used to say a prayer every night, that kind of thing, and I've fallen out of that. And so, yeah, I should probably try and get back in touch with that. It also helps you focus if you're thinking of praying about what you're thankful for, and which is usually what my basic prayer is my own prayer that I do, which is I say thanks for a lot of things. And then I pray for help with some things that I'm not great at and that I want to be better at. And then when I fail or am not as successful as I wish I was at things, I pray for help with those things. I want to be a really good dad, and I feel like I'm good at it, but I always want to be I want to be just way better the
Yeah,
best
we
can
just
be.
need like strength and inspiration to
Yeah, so
continue
I'll
and
pray for
to
those
keep
things. I should probably
going.
start praying about some of that stuff again. But yeah, I haven't in a while. I don't know why I fell out, but I have fallen out a little bit of doing that stuff. So yeah, I should probably try to way to connect. But yeah, and I think it's important to mention to everybody too that yeah, it doesn't have to be whatever you can get in touch with to just center yourself and focus on good things, whatever that might be. Yeah, I guess it's important to do a self check and go, where am I?
Yeah.
Could I be better? What could I be doing to help people to do good things?
I don't give money to homeless people. Seattle has a real homeless problem. And
Hmm.
I feel like if I give them money, they're just going to go buy drugs. So I don't
Right.
like giving them money, even though it's probably what
Hmm.
they need most because they need to buy stuff. But anyway, so I made these homeless kits with my daughter and we passed them out and they've got like
Hmm.
a poncho and snacks and water and toothbrush and whatever. And I rolled up to a stop sign yesterday and there was bum, but he didn't really look like a bum. He looked pretty pulled together sitting there. And I was like reaching behind my seat because they're usually there. And I'm like, oh, they're in the trunk. Like I can't get to them. Dang it. I'm like, I don't even have anything to give him. I was like, darn it. And then I was like, wait, I have cash in my wallet. So I open my wallet. I have like $200 bills and then like a bunch of 20s. First, I like pull out 100 and I'm like, mail now. I just pulled out a 20, handed him a $20 bill and gave it to him. I'm like, God bless you. And he was like, are you heading to church? He goes, everyone here goes to church until 11, every day of the week until 11 o'clock at night. And there's one of the local churches here, Pursuit, is doing like extended services, like
Mm.
extended prayer services. And I knew what he was talking about. I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to church. I'm going to dinner or whatever. But something just came over me to give him money. Like I never want to give them money. Like I am so against that. And I was just like, I just had to. And I told my husband, he was like, good job, Rachel. I was like, thank you. It's weird. I don't know. Sometimes it just feels good. You feel compelled and you just need to do it and you just do it and you feel good
Hmm.
because you gave him
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. And then, oh, I was going to tell you too, another thing. I just, okay, I'll tell a backstory. We are way over on time, but it's fine. Who cares?
For
We're
our
just driving.
episode.
I know,
How
hour
many
and a
more
half.
categories are there, Rachel?
Like 6 more. No, I
What?
know. No, I'm kidding. There's only 2 more. Neal's like, it's midnight. Almost. We'll go
Yep.
really quick. I'll make this a faster. So when I grew up riding horses and we used to show them in 4-H, which meant that we got to take our horses to the county fair and show them at the county fair, which was so cool. So I'd spend like a whole 5 days at the county fair with my horse and we would go out and ride rides and go to all the shows. One of the shows that they always had was the hypnotism show. And so I got hypnotized one year and then the guy was selling these hypnotism tapes afterwards that you could buy and like cassette tapes. This was back in like 1996, probably 95. So I bought these tapes and it was like healthy eating habits and study habits are the 2 that I bought. And I used my own hard-earned money to buy these because I just thought it was so cool. So I like went out to my camper. We stayed in a camper. I was by myself and I played one of the tapes and basically it's meditation. They just bring you into a really relaxed state and then they tell you positive affirmations and positive things that when you're in that relaxed state, your subconscious is more open to hearing, right? So then you start living these things and believing them in everyday life. I always remember that I had these and I've done them. I did them for a while and it worked. I would fall asleep and then when they'd say wake up, I'd wake up in my camper and I was like, geez, I'm awake. Like that actually worked. And I don't really remember doing those tapes a lot after that. Honestly, I don't know how many times I did them. I just don't remember. But I recently saw an ad for some kind of hypnotism, something, and it sparked that memory. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to look into these hypnotism tapes because I'm big into like meditation. And meditation is legit like almost the same thing. They just get you into a relaxed state. They tell your subconscious things that's positive, whatever you want to work on. And then they wake you up and you feel rejuvenated, refreshed, and good. There's
Yeah.
nothing bad that comes from it. So I was like, I want to look up. I know there's people out there that do this hypnotism thing. So I found an app. I can't remember what it's called. I don't know what it is. It's not an app. It's like a website I go to. And I bought this whole thing on healthy eating because I eat so much freaking sugar and crap. I'm like, I'm like so skinny. I work out all the time. I do not have a problem with food, but I'm not healthy inside. I can eat
Right.
pretty much whatever I want and I just don't gain weight. I'm extremely lucky. But anyways, I just want to eat healthier so that my body is healthier and I feel better every day because
And your brain's healthier. Yes.
yeah, my brain's healthier, everything, my gut, like all of that. So anyway, I've been doing this hypnotism tape. I've done it twice in the last week. And that's a spiritual practice, honestly, because you're just getting in tune with your own, like you're relaxing to a point of just like almost nothing, like you're thinking about nothing, which is good for your mind and your body and your soul. And then they're just priming you with eat healthy when you're going to take breaks between bites. And I
How many
actually think
how
I
many
just straight fell
times
asleep the last time I did it, but
yeah.
it's okay.
That's what I was going to ask. How many times have you woken up with your cell phone in hand and you're like, that's funny. Why do I have the Venmo app open and I've paid so-and-so $1,000?
Is that
That's weird.
DoorDash?
Oh,
Yeah, like we had crumble cookie last week. Like it was bad. Anyways, Mexican
yeah.
food twice.
I
And
had
pasta.
stopped at a country store today between shoots because I was going to be a little early. And I walked out of there with a peanut butter and chocolate cupcake.
Yum.
It
See,
was
that
pretty
sounds so
good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did not need that.
So try the hypnotism tapes. They really work, guys. Working on
hmm
those. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next one is emotion. Gosh, I freaking hate emotion.
Speed round. Let's go. Let's pick up the pace. Speed round. Last week, this week.
All right. Last week, my emotions were not good. I was out of control and I knew it. And that's the worst part because it's all about awareness and knowing. And I knew it and I couldn't fix it because there's just so much shit going on. And I'm like, but that's okay. I guess awareness is key. This week, I am doing better.
This
Week, I'm going to be better.
This week, you have your audio tapes to help you.
More in control of my emotions. And I'm not going to
Yes.
emotionally eat. No, I'm kidding. No, I do that actually. I eat when I'm sad or anxious. The food just feels good. It releases dopamine when you chew. I heard this. I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe it.
This was supposed to be a speed round, Rachel.
So we don't die. Okay, your turn. Emotions. Ready to go. Obviously,
Speed
I'm
round.
not comfortable talking about my emotions. So you're up.
All right, cool. No, you were fine. You were good. All right, last week, my emotions, I think, were pretty good because it was pretty chill and I was able to relax on my vacation. I didn't stress out about stuff, so that was good. Although prior to that, I was very stressed, but I let it go for the week, so that was good.
Said that.
And then this
Vacation, I'm
week,
terrified.
yeah, this week I'm feeling good, but the end of the month is coming, so we'll have to just see how that goes. And I will have to try and breathe. And one technique I learned for dealing with anxiety on this brain thing already was I've known, and you've mentioned the breathing. You stop and take a deep breath, but they had it a little more specific, which was nice. They said to do an inhale for 4 seconds, hold that breath for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 4 more seconds. And I thought that was interesting. The way they described it, they said that actually stress is very bad for your brain. It's very negative for your brain, especially repeated, prolonged stress. And so your body has some natural counteractions to that. And if you do, and those will help you get out of those modes. And if you do that breathing thing, it helps prime the pump, if you will, so that you start to get out of that anxiety stress phase. And what interesting that they said that people with PTSD, there's a certain part of the brain, I forget what it is, but it actually will deteriorate these cells that you need when you're under prolonged stress for a very long period of time. It eats away at this specific cells and part of the brain. And they said the people with PTSD it's very obvious that they've been under the stress for a very long time because they have very small, those parts of the brain have been totally deteriorated. Anyway, it's important not to have prolonged anxiety. If you're in an environment like that, you need to do something about it because over time, it's going to negatively impact your brain health, which later on is going to lead to memory issues and all these negative things for your brain. So try the breathing thing to get out of it, to change that state.
Another thing that I've been researching is sound healing. There are different frequencies that you can listen to at night. It works better if you have headphones on. They actually have like sound tables that you can lay on that emit different frequencies that can actually cure Alzheimer's or stop it in its tracks. There's been cures for leukemia, certain kinds of cancer. Yeah, it's very powerful. So sound, there's different frequencies that you can listen to. I think it's 40 hertz is the healing frequency for Alzheimer's and dementia. And it like stops it from progressing in the studies that they've seen. I watched some YouTube video on it. And I was like,
oh, interesting.
So interesting.
I want to know more about that.
Yeah. So anyway, so sound healing is a good one too, if you want to reduce your stress.
Sound healing. All right.
Yeah. I put on spa music every night. I'm like, Alexa, play spa music. And she plays it and it's amazing. Surprised she's not playing it now. And she's over there in the corner listening to everything I say. Stalker. Okay. Stalker. Okay. Education is the last one. And Neal, you have passed because you're watching Masterclass.
Yay!
Good job.
All right. Cool. So yes, I've done good. I'm on my second masterclass. I'm really liking masterclass. It's pretty cool. And I will continue it for next week. Yay!
Good. I'm trying to think if I watched it. Oh, I did. I bought Sue Bryce's posing class on posing for portraits, which I can pretty much know what I'm doing, but I'm always open to learning new stuff. So I bought it. I'm shooting some distinguished gentlemen in Nashville in 2 weeks. And I needed anything I can get because this is like a big deal. And it's like high-end fashion posing, like stuff that I don't normally do. But I mean, I can do it. I know I can do it. I've been studying different poses and like learning, but I just wanted anything. So I watched her course last week, which was really good.
A lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't long. It was only like 6-minute long tutorials. And I think there was maybe 8 of them. So I was surprised at how short it was. I was like, oh, that's it. I'm done. But I got a lot out of it. I liked it.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And then going forward, I don't know. I'm going to really focus on, I want to finish my book, High Achievement Habits. I want to get back into that because I haven't read it in so long. So maybe like 10 minutes Bible, 10 minutes that. That way I can feel like I'm still educating myself. Oh, and I'm listening to Joe Dispenza also. I bought his course and that's on like healing meditations. You can heal your body through meditation. So yeah, work on that. And that one's 27 hours long. I'm like halfway through it. But I listen to it when I go for walks with my dog, which I like. So
that's awesome. I love that. Cool.
Okay. Are we done? Did we do it?
I think we did it. I
3
hope
hours
that
later.
some of this is helpful. If you guys aren't, if you're asleep, that's also good because it's great for your brain health and will reduce your stress tomorrow. So that's fine. Yes. If you wake up and this podcast is just blue screen, you did good.
We'll just add spa music at the end so it plays for another 8 hours for you.
Just let it run.
Sleep in peace. 40 hertz, you will not have Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope this helps you. I have been doing this practice for about a month and a half of writing down each category and journaling on each one. It takes me about 30 minutes. I try to do it every Sunday. And it's just helped put everything into perspective and where I need to work and where I'm doing a good job. And some weeks you fail and some weeks you succeed, and that's okay. We're all human. So the point is you're aware and you're always trying to be a little bit better.
Cool. And I'm getting off as soon as we're done with this recording. I'm looking at the calendar for tomorrow, and I'm going to plug in a few things that I can accomplish tomorrow.
I love it. I'm going to body pump at 8:15, so I got to get up at 6 so I can drink coffee, read, and then go work out.
And I got to do 30 push-ups and go take a shower as well.
All right. You enjoy that, Neal. I'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.